I've been trying to make videos and that flow is not there, and something is telling me, God, I can't even talk. I'm going to keep that part just to show you guys what it's like making a video when you're not in the flow of making videos. And I know I'm going to get the flow back. I'm going to answer your questions and stuff, but it's not there. So I think I need to share this experience of what I went through, because it was by far the most spiritual, loving, peaceful experience, but wild. My grandmother was in the active dying phases this week, and I was every single day with her. I would just go home at night. My dad it was like a very emotionally draining but loving, peaceful experience, and these wild things happen, guys, and I really want to share this. So if I stumble in my words, just go with it, okay? I have a logic science brain that needs to prove things. So when I meditate for 2 hours and I see things and feel things beyond what I can explain, and my reality is all messed up and like, whoa, spirituality, my science brain has to come in and go, but maybe this. And anyway, this week, there has been so many things, I'm going to show you some of the videos, that have completely like, oh yeah, all right, there's something way more, and I got the proof. After my grandfather passed, my dad stepped in and moved in with my grandmother, started taking care of her. Thing is, my dad had his own struggles at some point, so I had to come in and take care of my grandmother. So through that time, we became very close. She got dementia a few years ago, and she went to a home where we visit her pretty often and we hang out. And she is very funny, very sarcastic. 2 weeks ago, we got a call that she had to go to the hospital for some minor stuff. And she was okay. She came back and she told me that her father was with her the whole time. And she was telling me all this story about how he was beside her, and it was cute. And then that week, she started telling people, the nurses and my dad, that she was ready to go. Like, this was her time. Within a week, she stopped eating, drinking, and became non-responsive for a couple of days. This all happened Sunday before March break started, because she knew we were off work, off school, so there was time for us to spend with her. Now I say she knew, but you guys know what I mean, because the timing of everything is really wild. So I spent every single day with her. My dad was there too, and he would do shifts with me so we could go home, shower, whatever. And I would meditate with her every day for an hour. When I started meditating with her, she started becoming responsive, although she was still showing signs of active dying, because I follow hospice nurse Julie, who explains all the signs. So I kind of like, if you're not following her, a great page, by the way. My meditations with her, holding her hand, were so wild, because I would open my eyes and she was going like, every time. And she wouldn't do that other time. She would just do like, reach out and start looking around the room every time. And she started becoming responsive. She started cracking jokes with us, and she was saying, oh, I love everybody. I love my family. And then we would ask her questions. She goes, sure. And we would ask her, are you in pain? And she's like, no, I'm fine. She started telling us that she's ready to go home. She's ready to see her mom and dad, her family. She started talking for solid 10 minutes at a time, just telling us all these stories. But in every single story, there was so much love for all of us. Like, I love my family, and she was naming all of us. So although it was very emotionally draining, because we're waiting for it, right? We were like, this is very loving and peaceful. So there's no funniness. Now, there was a point where somebody came in and started saying a lot of like religious prayers and stuff like that, and may God have mercy on your soul. That triggered her for a while, that she kind of became fearful and she didn't like it. But then I closed my eyes, I meditated with her again, and she kind of fell back into that peaceful, loving phase. So I made a side video about how we should ask for consent to pray out loud, just depending on people's beliefs and their mood and their state of mind. Anyway, the day before she passed, I did a meditation, and this one was one of the most visual meditations I've ever had. Like, I was getting sucked in to this like white hole. So after the meditation, I opened my eyes and I saw like orbs. You guys know what I mean. I've made videos about that. I see this and my cat sees it, but they were all over the room. Some of them were light, some of them were shadowy, but and it felt nice. Like, it wasn't scary. I was looking and they were everywhere. And this happened, I think it was about 20 minutes. And I was like, I got to film this. And I took out my camera after 20 minutes and was looking around, but my camera wasn't capturing it. I'm like, damn it. So I was like, is it my eyes? And I was rubbing my eyes, whatever. My dad told me, after I told him this, that the night before he was lying in bed beside her, because they had like 2 beds in the room. And as he was sitting, he was looking at her, and she was taking breaths like with the mouth open. And he saw her face was like warping in and out. And he's like, And he goes, this was happening for like 10 minutes. And my dad doesn't meditate. He's not like, he's open to stuff, but he's not like me. And then he went up to her and he touched her face. He's like, what am I seeing? The night that he saw that, I meditated. I was at home because we were doing the shifts. And I saw the same thing in my meditation. And how he described it, he's like, I don't know if it was her consciousness or soul was kind of coming in, coming out. And I was like, oh my God, I saw the same thing. So that's just the first thing. So my grandmother lasted 8 days. And we were asking the nurses if this is normal because my grandmother was like 85 pounds. And 8 days, no food, no water. Every day they came in the room, they were like, no answer. Nobody could explain it to us. So now it's been 8 days. And after this meditation of seeing all the orbs, the nurse walks in and she's like, we're going to give her a little bit of morphine to like ease anything so she doesn't go through any pain. Because at this point, sometimes she would wake up like making a face and we just wanted to make it comfortable. So I get up and I'm standing. No joke. I'm going to show you guys the video, okay? So I thought it was static. This was not static because I'm standing up and I was pulling off hair, you know, like my hair. It's just, I don't know, you guys know, you have long hair, you're just pulling off hair off your shirt all the time. And I had this one hair that was there and I went to grab it and the hair goes up and starts like moving around, all sorts of movements. And I'm just staring at it. And it's like straight up, just the end, the tip of the hair was holding. I'm just gonna show you guys the video. You see the hair? And if some of you guys are like, oh, that's just static. Okay, then it's static. But the feeling I felt, it was beyond what the science can explain. So about 10 minutes after this, a nurse walks in and starts crying and said, oh my God, I didn't know that she was passing. She was the weekend nurse, had been there all week. So she's like, she was waiting for me. She was my best friend, which was beautiful to see. So at this point, my grandmother was no longer talking and the nurse, we started talking and she was telling us stories and she started laughing. Her laughter made my grandmother smile and that smile stayed permanently till the end, which was just a few hours later. So I go home, go to bed, and my dreams were like, get ready, it's happening. Like this was my reoccurring dream all through sleeping. My dad was sitting beside her and he was like falling asleep. So he's like, I'm gonna go lie on the bed. And he tells her, I love you, Mom. I'm going to say goodbye now just in case you go and it's okay to go. And he said he woke up suddenly and he saw her and she wasn't breathing. He got up right away. He touched her. He said she was super warm and it seemed like it just happened. He called me before he called the nurses and he rings. And all I remember is I woke up. I'm like, I know. It was so weird. But anyway, I drive over, I get to the front and there's a new nurse that I've never seen before. And she opens the door and I'm like, you know, I'm so-and-so. And she had no idea that somebody just passed. She didn't know anything because she was brand new. She tells me her name. It's my daughter's name. And my daughter has a very, very rare name. And I was like, that's my daughter's name. And she's like, that's strange. This is like a very rare name. And I'm like, how do you spell it? The exact way, which I don't know why I spelled my daughter's name like that. I was pregnant. That's my excuse. Because it's spelled just very weird. Since my grandmother passed and I saw her, I have been having these weird, like my body's vibrating. And I get that same vibration when I meditate for over 2 hours. It's like, I explain it like, you know, when you're mowing the lawn or you're blow drying your hair and you get that like, but it's all over my body. The next day when I wake up, I'm lying in bed and my boyfriend's beside me and my cat is running and chasing something in the house. And we don't know what it is, but he was meowing and chasing something. And he runs up beside me and knocks over my grandmother's bowl, which I've had for 10 years now? It's filled with crystals. And my grandmother has this little crystal. It's a crystal quartz bowl. And there's some of my crystals, some of my grandmother's, and there's a heart in there. That's my grandmother's. 10 years I've had this. And my cat decides to knock it over, break it, and that little heart just rolls right in front of me. So, you know, a lot of people are like, well, these are all just series of a lot of coincidences. And I'm like, I feel like there's synchronicities. There is something that I feel like this experience has made me feel beyond. Like I've had doubts. Oh my God, it's 11:11. She passed yesterday. And there's been this series like all week. It's like my grandmother was like, listen, I'm going to connect you more. Like, I'm going to remove some of your doubt. I feel like this is what's been happening of my spiritual doubt. And I've been meditating, guys, since 2011. I've had these deep spiritual awakening in 2011. So I've been on this journey for many years, but I've always had this doubt connected with fear no matter what, and it's gone this week. But I'm sure there's more things that are going to happen. This is just like the beginning of a lot of cool stuff. And I think I might have missed stuff. I think there is more that happened, and I'm just telling you the big major stuff, but there's a lot of tiny little things. I'm aware that not all passings are this peaceful. I lost a cousin. She was brutally emmed, and I don't even want to get into that because that does affect me, because there was a lot of suffering and pain. But there's something, and I feel like knowing that that's there gives so much peace and love, no matter the passing, whether it was completely tragic or peaceful. And I know a lot of religious people are going to come in and throw the God and the stuff, and that's okay if that's what you believe. I don't have that belief, but I do have that energy belief, and wow. Okay, kiss. Can I give you a kiss too? Another kiss?